I'm not sure, but Powerslide? Powerslide.
Okay, the Powerslide, you have to kind of use the same mechanics as if you're doing just a forward slide. Powerslide's where you're on your toes, chest is over the water. Okay, when you do a forward side slide, I call it, you notice when you're standing in correct position, you're actually leaning away from the boat. So, if you invert that, you want to be leaning away from your boat, which means on your toes. A lot of people, when they do a power slide, they just try to turn the board. It doesn't really work out, okay? So what we do is we're gonna go really slow, 12, 13, and you're gonna start on the far side of the wakes so that if you're left foot forward, you're gonna be on the right side of the wakes, staying in between the wakes. You're going to cut across the wakes, building up a little bit of speed. Once you reach across, about halfway across the wakes, you're gonna take your back hand, which is your right hand, and you're gonna throw it behind you. While you're doing that, you're gonna take your back foot, your right foot, and you're gonna kick it out from underneath you in the direction that you're going. Okay, the mistake that people make is they just try to turn the board. It's really important. This is the most important thing in a power slide, is that you take your back foot and you push it out from underneath you. Okay? You can think about, I tell people, like a donkey kicking in that direction. So you're gonna be cutting to the left, and then you're taking your back foot, your right foot, and try that again. You're gonna be cutting to the left, you're gonna take your back foot, and you're gonna kick it to the left, out from underneath you. We're gonna first do that slowly, do it a few times so you feel comfortable, then we're gonna go outside the wake. We're gonna go just a little bit faster, just because when you take it outside the wake, you'll see you need a little bit more speed to get away from the wake. Here we go. You got this. Done deal. Lip slide. We're gonna work on some side slides on top of the wake. Some people call them butter slides, lip slides. There's all these technical terms. We'll explain all that later to you. At first, what you can do, have the boat slow down a little bit. This will kind of soften things up, the same thing we were doing side slides when the boat was going slow earlier. As you begin to cut outside the wake, when you get to that crest of the wake, kick your board into a side slide and bring it right back. And finish by going down the wake, because that's how you're gonna finish this when you go take it to the next level. The next level being, bring the boat speed up just a little bit to pretty much normal riding speed, and you're gonna have the wake at your toes. When you start this, you're only gonna be right at the bottom of the wake. You're gonna take just a little tiny cut up the wake, not too fast or else you're gonna go too far inside the wake. But as you begin to go up the wake, take your back foot and kick it inside the wakes. This is the same way that you just do your normal side slide right behind the boat. Don't go pulling on the handle to initiate the slide. Make sure you're taking that back foot, kicking it out from underneath you right at the boat so that you're just standing on top of the wake, and you're gonna be balancing right on top of the wake in between your feet. The first time you do this, I only want you to do it for just a split second and bring it right back. Same thing where you're doing the inside out. I want you to do it for a split second and bring it right back. Once you get comfortable with it, if you want, since your riding switch is pretty good right now, you can go ahead and do your side slide on top of the wake and go down the wake switch. You can also take yourself out to the other wake so that the wake is gonna be on your heels. As you go with a very slow cut up the wake, you're gonna take your front foot, only let that get inside the wake, so you're gonna take your back foot and kick it out from underneath you. Once again, anytime that you're just doing these slides for the first time, do it very quickly and bring it right back. As you become more comfortable, then you can start holding it a little longer, all right? Now, for the little bit more technical one. Since you're doing a power slide pretty good, you can actually do that on top of the wake. And if the wake's at your toes, you're gonna take a little cut up the wake, just not too much speed, and you're gonna take your back foot and kick it out from underneath you. Just the exact same feeling as a power slide, but you're gonna be balancing on top of the wake. Takes a little bit more technique, but you're gonna see that you can actually do it. But once again, if you have the boat slow down a little bit, it's gonna be a little easier for you to do this the first time. So people, they ask me like, what's the difference between lip slide, board slide, some of these technical things. If you wanna know, pay attention. The way you can determine which way, if it's a lip slide or a board slide, first you have to determine if it's front side or back side. We get these terms from surfing and skateboarding. If the wake is at your toes, the first term is gonna be it's front side. If the wake is at your heels, it's gonna be back side. This has to do with your slides, not the way you cut at the wake. So if you're standing with the wake at your toes, and you go up and take your back foot and cross over the wake, it's called a front side, because at your toes, lip slide. It's called a lip slide because your back foot is crossing over whatever you're sliding. Same thing if you're on a rail, any kind of rails or anything like that. So let's say if you're standing at the wake at your toes, and then you go with only your front foot crossing over what you're sliding. That's gonna be a board slide. So if your back foot crosses over, it's a lip slide. And if your front foot crosses only thing to cross over, then it's a board slide. So if you're doing front side and you go with your front foot over, it's a front side board slide. If you're standing with the wake and it's at your back and you take your back foot over, it's a backside lip slide. And if you're going with the heel edge against the wake and you take just your front foot, it's a backside board slide. Make sense? Well, if not, you can rewind it. Stay on the water. On the top. Yes. There you go.